So who has the best crab cake by the beach? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna visit 5 places, around the beach to see who has the best crab cake. I wish I could hit them all, but unfortunately I can't, at least in one video. So I'll probably do this again, but for this one, I picked out certain places where I've heard the most word of mouth about. Of course, I went on their websites or Facebook or social media and just checked out the reviews. Some of the places that are in this episode I've seen around, like we have a local metropolitan magazine where the community will vote on different categories of businesses, and one of them in there is who has the best crab cake. So I know at least one of these, or actually 2 of them, were in that magazine voted the best. You don't want to miss this one, so stay tuned. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Rich. I'm your local Maryland, Delaware realtor. If you need to reach out for any reason, my contact information is down below. Let me just go over how I'm going to rate this. So I'm going to do a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being best, 1 being awful, which the places that I picked in this episode here, they're all supposed to be good. Things that I'm looking for is how much crab meat is in the crab cake. Is it real blue crab meat? Because I've had some, and I know of some restaurants that might get a different type of crab and put in there and call it a Maryland crab cake. So that's one thing that I'm looking at. Also the flavor of it, and that can come down to maybe how much filler it has or binder. But it has to have good flavors. I've had some that are over seasoned and or just use some crazy ingredients. And I'll also mention the price, because it's always usually market price on most menus, because crab meat can get kind of expensive. So I'm excited about this one. So come along with the journey and let's check these out. Alright guys, this is a quick little review on the Broad Street crab cake. My impressions, the crab cake was very good, had a generous amount of crab meat in it, and it was real blue crab meat. Definitely had a good flavor to it, so they didn't like over season it or anything like that. Good balance. It was a good amount of crab meat in there with some binder, filler in there. A lot of people think that filler is a bad word, when you talk about crab cakes, but I think it had a good balance. These guys, they had quite a bit of reviews on, it was either Google or Facebook, but everybody was talking about the crab cakes. So they're new and I had to come check them out. So definitely worth it. My rating, I would give them an 8, and which is very good. So would highly recommend. right, so I just finished up the Captain's Galley Crab Shack is what it's called. You saw the crab cake, so jumbo lump in there, and it was like that all the way through the whole crab cake. So cost of it was $24 was the market price for it, which most of the ones have been around that price range. I actually felt good about spending that money on this sandwich, so it was pretty good. So I have to give it a 9.5. So almost a 10, but it was right there. You know, it was served with the Old Bay chips and the pickle. I loved everything about it because it was jumbo lump crab meat through the whole crab cake. I almost gave it a 10, but it had good taste, not over seasoned, but it tastes like a good crab cake. You could tell it was real blue crab meat. I would highly recommend them. And of course, you know, Captain's Galley used to be in West Ocean City, and originally was in Crisfield. They had a location there too, but you know, it's no longer there. And if you ask me, I don't know, whenever it was 10 years ago, who had the best crab cake, I would say Captain's Galley. And this tastes like the same recipe, so highly recommend it. Another crab cake down. So I just got finished the Coins crab cake and just wanted to give my quick review on it. Very good crab cake. It had plenty of crab meat. So it was lump crab meat that it had in there. A little bit more filler than I thought it would have, but it's still good. It had good flavor, and you could tell it was real you know, blue crab meat. So that's always a plus. And the price was pretty reasonable. Yeah, so the sandwich was 20 bucks, so it's been the cheapest so far. A lot of people have talked about this crab cake, and you know, this is actually the first time I've had it, so I had to make sure I came over, put it on this video here. My rating, I would give it an 8.5. So B+, good crab cake, would highly recommend. And the restaurant is actually pretty nice inside. I've been in Coins before just for like a beer a long time ago, and couldn't really remember, but it's a very unassuming place. So if you're in town and you want something good to eat, hence crab cake, I would definitely visit them. All right, so I just finished up the Crab Cake Factory. I visited the original one on 120th Street in Ocean City. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. I've had their crab cakes before in the past. It's been a while. The Crab Cake Factory have won multiple awards. I think through like the local Metropolitan magazine. They were voted best crab cakes before. I'm not sure if it was this year or the previous year, but they do boast their crab cake. But the crab cake here, my overall impression, it had tons of crab meat in it, lots of lump, which it didn't look like it initially, but once you got in there, again, you saw the footage. Plenty of crab meat, the flavor was good. It wasn't over seasoned. You could tell it was real crab meat, real blue crab meat, you know. So my overall rating on this one is I give it a 9. So an A. So very good. Highly would recommend them. And the cost ended up being, I've got the receipt here, $23 for their crab cake sandwich. Was pretty much around like most of the other ones there too. I think bonus points too. They had pickles with the sandwich, which I love, and their chips were good too. They seemed like they were homemade, and it looked like almost they had like Old Bay seasoning on it, which most restaurants do, but it actually had like a barbecue seasoning on the chip. So yeah, that one's definitely in the running. Alright guys, I just finished up the Woody's crab cake. This is probably the one restaurant / crab cake that I've heard the most about, is Woody's having the best crab cake. Even their, you probably saw in the footage, their sign says world's best crab cake. So here's my rating. I had it, you saw the footage on there. So this one probably had the most amount of crab meat of all the crab cakes that I had. It was all a jumbo lump. And so visually it was awesome, and the taste was very good too. I'd say the flavor was good. So my rating on this one, I want to give it a 10, but I would say a 9.5 is what comes to mind. I don't know why I'm a little hesitant to give it a full 10, but it had good flavor. I was just thinking maybe some of the other ones that I had maybe had a little better flavor, but overall, I mean, A+ crab cake. And it lives up to name. I mean, if you go on and see the reviews, I mean, everybody talks about their crab cakes, and I can see why. Oh, and the cost on this one was $26 for the sandwich that I got. Came pretty plain Jane, no lettuce, tomato, no nothing, which is okay. I'll put that stuff on there sometimes. All right, and the winner is, well, first, make sure you leave a comment down below your thoughts, and of course, if you didn't see your spot in this video, make sure you put your recommendation down below. So it was a close one. I mean, Woody's and Dewey Beach, and you know, Captain's Galley crab cake shack here in West Ocean City, pretty much tied. Crab Cake Factory was right there too, man. So just looking back, and my thoughts on the one that stands out to me, got to be Captain's Galley crab cake shack there in West Ocean City. And it had everything that I was looking for with flavor, tons of crab meat, lump crab meat in there, very limited filler. Would highly recommend. And of course, all of them in this video are good, so you can't go wrong. But that's just my recommendation. If you enjoy this video and it's helped you out a little bit, make sure that you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my content that I come out with every week. And of course, until next time, I'll see you soon.